And yes, this is an elimination match. Now, being that this is a random percent tournament, there's a lot of flags that are on or off. However, if you have not seen one of these races before, there are a couple of certain flags that are guaranteed to be on. For example, Shuffle Caves and Shuffle Dungeon locations are both guaranteed to be on. This is due to the last tournament being a non-Cave Shuffle tournament. It was decided that having Cave Shuffle would be important for this one instead of a 50-50 Cave Shuffle to keep things nice and fresh. Level 9 will require 8 Triforces to get into. Dungeon rooms will be shuffled, and they will be randomized in amongst all the different dungeons. And speed up text. And that is all of our guarantees. Now, some of the flags that we have, we could have a Wood Sword Cave Shuffle. We could have the Wood Sword be blocked if it's shuffled. We could have Whistle the Old Dungeons. We could have no extra candles. We could have random amount of Triforce to start, random amount, up to 2 items to start. Those can be any 2 items. You could also start with 1 or 0. Random Red Bubble Curse, random dungeons, random overworld, random hints. A lot of stuff that we're not going to know until we get it. A couple things that we know we will not have. We will not have important item drops. We will not have second quest monsters unless there are second quest dungeons in the sea. That is the only way we will get second quest monsters. We will not have minor dungeon drops. We will not have a lot of the extremely difficult flags such as one-hit knockout, swordless, maximum enemy and boss health. Those start to come in later on, but for this stage of the tournament, those flags will not be in play. Now, as you look at Catastrophe's title scroll, you're going to notice that the sprites are not there on the title scroll. That is because there is a 50-50 chance that our sword upgrades are going to be replaced by bomb upgrades. So the white sword will be a +2 bomb upgrade, and the magical sword will be a +2 bomb upgrade. Because of the fact that the white sword and magical sword show up on the title scroll, it would be a spoiler about if that flag is on. So that is hidden. As well, the code is a series of numbers and letters instead of a 4 sprite code. Because again, that could be a spoiler if you see in the place of a white sword and a magical sword bomb upgrades. However, there is an interesting little caveat to that. If the white sword and magical sword are replaced with bomb upgrades, and your starting items roll as a white or magical sword, you will still receive the white/magical sword you would have gotten as a starting item. So if you're in this case and you think, okay, well, if white sword, magical sword, bomb upgrades is on, then I don't get a sword upgrade, you can still start with one. Now, there is a start shuffle in effect. It is the non-full start shuffle. So there are certain screens and certain areas that you cannot spawn in because, logically, there's only one way out of them, and it could very easily force you into a bottleneck. These areas include pretty much all of West Hyrule with the exception of Deadwoods, and I want to say a couple random screens strewn throughout the overworld. So you're most likely going to see a forest start, a Deadwood start, maybe a coast start. The worst case scenario is a waterfall start, because technically that is not a bottleneck, even though it's effectively a bottleneck. Waterfall is allowed, northeast corner is allowed. I think it's like Grave, Death Mountain, and some really and maybe Vanilla 5 itself. I'm not 100% certain on the details of what individual screens are. I just know the general areas of the Death Mountain and Grave area is not allowed, and you also cannot start on a raft spot. Just due to the fact that either raft is going to be in that first cave, raft is going to be available for free in that first cave, or you're not doing anything in the seed. Thank you and good day. We do have the same code from both runners. So there's a couple things that I'd like to see. I'd like to see at least one Blitz Seed, where a Blitz Seed would be they start with good combat items, they have a good number of Triforces early, they don't need to necessarily fight Ganon, they can just rush into 9 and get it done and move on to the next. And the reason is, to me, the Blitz Seeds are some of the very interesting ones in that you have to determine how and when you want to gamble. You might say, okay, well, it's a Blitz Seed. I need to get the Triforce out of 7 anyway. I might as well look for the item element there. Another person might say, I'm just going to get my Triforce out of 7. Maybe I'll dip 1 and 2 and elsewise just go straight to 9. And that's one of the intricacies of the random Triforce start is how much are you willing to gamble on what dungeons. If you start with a Triforce out of level 7 and you know it's a first quest level 7, you're less likely to dig that than you would, say, you started with the Triforce from a second quest 3, but it's second quest 3. Second quest 3 is not a big dungeon to dig at all. And then Shapes throws a whole nother monkey wrench in this whole business, but we should get started here in a couple of seconds. And by a couple, I mean like, I don't know, 30-ish? So the first question that the runners are going to the first thing the runners are going to do is take a look at what they have. Look and see what starting items they have. Look and see what Triforces they have, and start to formulate a path based on what their start grade is. More than likely, you'll see them run towards the Vanilla Wood Sword Cave and the Vanilla Power Bracelet Arbos, because those two are 50-50 be shoveled. So there's a decent chance that both of those will just be their normal spot. Okay, so we see they start with the Magic Boomerang. They also start with the Power Bracelet. Triforces out of 3, 5, and 7, assuming first quest or Shapes. They might have 0 HP enemies. Yes, Power Bracelet and Magic Boomer are the starting items to see. If they have 0 HP enemies, that Magic Boomerang becomes extremely helpful, as it can as it's basically an 8-directional sword. Good indication that we're going to have vanilla any roads. The ways we can tell what our overall quest is going to be is by vanilla level 2, level 5, and level 3. If the top of the Lost Tales is a fairy fountain, or the level 3 location from first quest is just a cave, we know we are in a second quest overworld. Looks like we have both vanilla sword and extra candles. If either of those is the normal level, then it's going to come down to vanilla level 2. If vanilla level 2 is the lake, we have a mixed overworld. If vanilla level 2 is the cave, then we have a pure first quest overworld. Both runners looking for some bomb drops, going to some early caves. We will have secret shuffled, and that is not a great small secret. May not be that big of a deal if it's first quest money, but if it's second quest money, that could hurt them a little bit. Ooh, we have drop group shuffle, we have hidden dungeon numbers, but we may not have shuffled dungeon palettes. If we do not have shuffled dungeon palettes, this will be a level 8, and it will be a Shapes 8. I'm starting to get the feeling we have 0 HP enemies, but I'm also getting the feeling this is going to be a Shape no matter what. I'm trying to recall if there is a... Well, there's an... early heart container. That does not mean we have heart shuffle. Let me repeat that. That first heart container does not mean we have heart shuffle. If we see an item on the ground that is not a heart, or we see a free heart available as any of the free items, and oh, that's a Shape. This is a Shapes. This actually might be a Shapes 8 just from how big it is. That's interesting. Okay, so if that's the case, we have 2 items in this dungeon, in the stairs, plus 1 on the floor. Again, we currently do not have a guaranteed heart shuffle on. Bosses are not 0 HP, that's important. So the Sword of Grades and the Wand and such will be good for bosses. It will not help a ton for regular enemies. And it looks like it is Boss Haven here. However, notably, Catastrophe has bombs, XRB does not. The fact that Catastrophe has bombs is going to allow him to potentially explore a little bit more of this dungeon without having to kill that one Gleeok. Ooh, but he takes a death. Not what you want to see. And XRB now gets a bomb drop off of Azul. We definitely have shuffled drop groups. But I am very curious to see what our second stair item is, and especially what our floor drop is. Again, this heart is inconclusive on its own as to whether or not we have heart shuffle. If we get it all comes down to where is the next heart. If the next heart is on the ground, like it's supposed to be, still inconclusive, but slightly leans towards that being the coast heart. Now, if we see a heart on the coast, obviously there's nothing there. It's going to be heart shuffle. Balls runners are going to leave level 8. Not a bad idea. It's you versus a Gliok on green mail, 4 hearts, and on top of that, you are key block to begin with over and above. Looks like we have vanilla hints, so no help there. Thank you to our checker in chat, Boletta, for pointing that out. So yeah, this is what I refer to as the early game of the seed. Catastrophe is going to opt to pick up the candle. We'll see if XRB does the same. He does. So both runners getting their free candle, not a bad idea. You never know when you're going to find a candle shop, and for all we know, this is a mixed overworld with second quest money, or just a second quest overworld in general. So if you are... So this is what I refer to as the early game of a seed. You've just gotten your first set of weapons. You still have no idea where your dungeons are. This is the point of a seed where you want to do exactly what both these runners did. Get your candle, try to get your exploration items, and just hop into as many caves as you can. If you see a large dungeon, probably dig your head in a couple rooms, see what's in there. Then if nothing's there, you leave. And folks, we have a mixed quest overworld. So a mixed quest overworld means any spot that is in first and second quest can be available. The spots that are guaranteed to open are the ones that will open in both, such as this bush here. Ones that are not in both, such as the bush one screen north and the bomb spot on the screen that Catastrophe is about to be on. These spots are not guaranteed to open. The other thing is, we don't know if it's fixed quest first, if it's a mixed overworld with first or second quest cave distribution. And the reason that matters is the money. In a second quest cave distribution, there is only one large secret. There are 6 smalls, and there are 10 door repairs. I believe the number of mediums is the same. In a first quest, it's 9 medium, 4 small, 3 large, and 9 door repairs. The reason that is important is if it is a second quest overworld, money management is going to become potentially a significant factor, with the bombs being a little bit pricey. Even though you get some savings on the arrows, it may not be worth it. Now, this is assuming you don't just farm your bombs off of enemies, which, given it's 0 HP enemies, you can pretty relatively easily do. The other reason that the money will matter is for things like if either runner wants a blue ring, if they want to purchase bomb upgrades, if we have the boomstick option on, which turns the book from causing the wand to shoot fire, it causes it to create bomb explosions, and puts the book into shot for 200 plus minus 20 rupees. That will cost them anywhere between 180 and 220 rupees, and in the second quest overworld, money is a premium. We've already seen 3 small secrets. So if we see 2 more small secrets, we know we have second quest money, and we've seen the large shield for 150. That's a very interesting price. The reason 150 is an interesting price is, technically speaking, the middle priced magic shield can get up to 150 at max. So much like that first, hello, we have bomb upgrades instead of sword upgrades. So with the bomb upgrades instead of sword upgrades, that downplays the value of the white sword item. We're assuming that's the magical sword bomb upgrade. There's no reason to assume yet that the white sword bomb upgrade is that one. But that lowers the value of the bomb upgrades in dungeons a little bit because you can get a couple free ones. However, those couple of free ones require you to get hearts, which you may or may not be willing to dig out of dungeons. Vanilla power bracelet, not really surprising. That's a 50-50 chance of being randomized. But that's what I was saying about the magic shield. The maximum that the magic shield can roll on that one that normally costs 130 is 150. So if that is a maximum rolled magic shield from the 130, we still can have a boomstick in this seed. Again, they have to find a wand in order to be able to capitalize on it, but the option is still technically available. Much like how the option is still technically available for this not to be a heart shuffle seed. Everything is going to be wishy-washy until we see a couple more items, a couple more dungeons, and start to get a feel for what flags actually are or aren't on. $70 is not a bad price for the magic shield, and a good amount for the mid-secret at 35. So that will help alleviate the small secret sum of its second quest money. Hello, we have Heart Shuffle. We have confirmed Heart Shuffle. We have now seen a heart in a staircase in level 8, and we have seen a heart as the white sword item. XRB finds level 9. So now level 8 becomes potentially more enticing, because there are going to be now 2 more items in that dungeon. Also, level 1 has become the most valuable place to find, unless it is second quest front half, in which case level 4 takes that moniker, as Heart Shuffle now introduces 8 new items into the pool. So the runners will be looking for the floor drops. For their sake, as XRB does lose some money on the gamble, Catastrophe debating buying some arrows or bombs. He does not have a bow. He is going to opt to buy the bombs and continue his exploration. As much as I am a fan of the early arrow purchase, the bomb purchase makes more sense here. He's already up here in Death Mountain. It's a pain to get back here. There's no reason to put off doing these bomb spots if you have the option to just buy some bombs and get done with it. I would hope that we see an arrow purchase out of him later if he gets the bow, assuming the silvers are not available before then. But the bomb purchase makes more sense here. As XRB is now in the forest, I'm happy to see the 2 runners going different ways, and we have a level, potentially level 1. Now, this could be a first quest 1. This could be a first quest 1. XRB is going to opt not to open the door on the right first. Maybe he will now. No, he is going to leave. It looks like he is going to opt not to pirouette that door as Catastrophe finds level 9 and takes a retry. Probably to get his money and bombs back. And XRB has opted not to pirouette open the door to what we believe is level 1. Looks like we have found our large money in the forest. XRB will probably come back to that level with a key. Catastrophe should find it soon. We'll see if he decides to dig the level sum. Good potion price for the red. It is a 6 rupee increase over the blue. Yeah, there'd be no reason to buy the blue potion there. Now, if this is first quest level 1, which it could be, based on the starting location, this could be a first quest level 1. If it is a first quest level 1, again, this is assuming Palette Shuffle is off, which so far it looks like it is. Not thinking level 1 right now might be a better play, simply on the grounds that level 1 has 6 locked doors in it. It could very easily be key blocked as soon as you open that door up, as Catastrophe may end up not digging it either. I feel like I feel like the way that I'd approach it is I'd at least open that one door up to see what's in there. $111 for our large secret. That may be our only large secret in the seed. And Catastrophe is also going to leave the level. We potentially have 2 runners that have now left. Well, we have 2 runners that have left the level behind. That is a potential level 1 that has been left behind in favor of more exploration. again, I can see it from the standpoint of if it is a first quest 1, it's very heavily key blocked. You're probably going to be key blocked 1 or 2 rooms in anyway. But to me, it would be worth at least to see if the room opens. And maybe there's evidence that it's not a level 1. Maybe there's evidence that it's a shapes 1. Maybe there's even evidence that it's just some random level that we don't know. XRB finally gets the bomb spot here. Finds the blue ring shop with the expensive meat and the cheap magic shield. XRB is now going to find everything that Catastrophe found earlier. Catastrophe will pick up his 5th heart. It'll be curious to see, because Heart Shuffle's on, there's a good chance you're going to pick up more hearts than you normally would. If the runners with those extra hearts will make a play for that magical bomb upgrade, given their likely extra heart count. But it's way too early in the seed to say that yet, especially with the magical bomb upgrade being over Vanilla 6, which really isn't near anything of interest to them. We might get a coast item check from Catastrophe. It is a heart. So if there was any doubt in anyone's mind at this point that we have Heart Shuffle off, it is on. 100%. Catastrophe is going to opt to buy a key. Interesting play. Not a bad one. Not necessarily a bad play, but an interesting one to say the least. XRB does score some extra bombs for himself. Catastrophe finds a little bit more money under Vanilla level 8. We've seen a good bit of this overworld and not a whole lot of levels. I'm starting to think level blue, which, again, based on the indications of, so far it looks like pallets are not shuffled, is 1. I'm starting to think that that's going to have something like a recorder or a raft to start opening the seat up, because, again, we've seen a lot of overworld. And, what, 3 dungeons? I'm not sure how much of near start the runners have done. There could very well be a dungeon there, too. Same with the second quest power bracelet spots. I believe Cat has checked the one up on Death Mountain, but I don't think either has checked Lost Hills. And I don't believe either has checked the vanilla second quest magical sword. And both are going to get the very definite news: you need a recorder to open this lake up. So I am curious as to why both... Again, I can see the logic of it. It's just... skipping that level is a very interesting play to make. Now, they might be forced into it by sheer virtue of there's nothing else available. Catastrophe is now going to see, and yep, it's a 5 heart container. So you get 5 heart containers and you're rewarded with more health. Not super surprising given that there's a 50% chance that rolls, that changes regardless. And then on top of that, there's a 33% chance if it does randomize to be 5 hearts anyway. So it's a little over, I forget the exact math on it. XRB finds a level. This could be level 4. He will definitely need a key to get in here. This could also be 6. No, this is 4. Catastrophe is trying to get weird clip. It's not been able to get it yet. The siege so far is presenting itself as, there he goes, he's got the tree clip, he goes in, and it's a level, this will be level 6. At the vanilla second quest 7 spot. And XRB is not that far away. Let's see what he decides to do. Ooh, now that's interesting. That's a second quest push block. That means that either second quest rooms are on in shapes and they got shuffled into first quest dungeons, or this is a shape 6. either of those options is possible right now. We'll need to see a map to confirm one way or the other. But when XRB finds level, what we presume to be level 3. Now the turntables are starting to turn. This is starting to look more like first quest 1 through 6 with second quest rooms added for flavor text. Ooh, and an immediate ladder block in level 3. And an immediate blue boomerang in level 6. You know, I don't think XRB taking the time to bomb some of these walls is necessarily bad play at this point. And the reason is, he knows that the front half, he knows that the back half of the seed is shapes. He doesn't necessarily know that it's going to be first quest 1 through 6, which is what we see so far, but still may not be the case. This could very well be still a shape 6. Not likely at this point, but it's possible. XRB is going to go ahead and buy his arrows. Catastrophe still in this level, what we presume to be 6. Looking for second quest doors here. Oh, and that wall does not open. He is going to have to spend a key if he wants to go deeper. XRB is trying to get this bush from this side, is able to get it, and is rewarded with a heart container. Catastrophe is going to spend his key at the entrance to level 1. Oh, that's painful to watch. That is painful to watch, knowing that that can be pirouetted. And in there is a raft. So now he can either go through that door, or he's gonna have to go find another key. Finds a double block room. I'm starting to think we're gonna have first quest front half, shapes back half. But so far, nothing of real value in this level, which means XRB's choice to not go in here so far. Ooh, a ladder block. I'm starting to wonder if our ladder's going to be in that level up at 0 Delta that we believe is 4. Catastrophe will regain his key. He's now in the NSU room with the map. This will give us the confirmation. We have first quest front half, shapes back half, as the prediction was. So that means this level 1 is going to have 3 items in it. We can see that the drops are shuffled, which means that the heart container 4-drop item can be anywhere in one. It could be in this room. It is a key. A lot of medicine shops for XRB. He's probably wanting to find some money so he can buy some keys. And because the lane mollas are not 0 HP, the boomerang will have no effect on them. Which, that's not necessarily the easiest room to see a Triforce in. And I'm starting to think, based on how many door repairs we've seen, we're looking at a potential second quest money seed. Which means that money's going to be tight and purchases are going to need to be worthwhile. Now, do note that because the Bender started with the Triforce out of level 3 and 5, as well as 7, if they go into those dungeons, they will not have a Triforce. They will not have to go get the Triforce out of there. They can just get the item and leave if they choose to dig those. Catastrophe immediately going back into level 6. XRB looks like he's going to do some more overworld exploration, probably just hunting for bombs here. That would be my guess, is XRB is hunting for bombs to keep going in some levels. And a Triforce at level 6. Catastrophe got the raft out of level 1. He should know that Heart Shuffle's on based on what he's seen. But he's opted not to go back to level 1 to look for items, and he's opted not to look in level 6 for items. He has decided that the one stair item out of 1 and 6 are enough. And he's gonna go for the Rush 9 strategy. So there's a couple of different strategies you can take in Random Percent. One common strategy is the Rush 9 strat, which is you just get to 9 ASAP, don't worry about things like potential ladder blocks, potential bow blocks. There was a key block in level 4 on XRB. I don't believe Catastrophe's seen level 4 yet. Catastrophe will now find level 3. XRB is going to work his way out of this Gleeok room with a bomb and just gets into a shoot room with a heart on the floor. So that's 2 hearts in level 8. Catastrophe now finds his ladder block in level 3. And he is just going to have to leave here. Currently 6 hearts to 7. Not a big difference there, but enough. And the regular boomerang is the 3rd and final item in level 8. You like to see 3 quick items in level 8. You hate to see 3 quick items in level 8 when they're all useless for the runner. So Catastrophe on 5 Triforces to XRB's 3, but XRB does currently have the knowledge of level 4. And XRB's done with level 8. He's gotten all 3 items. He's gotten the Triforce out of it. I'm pretty sure every runner would be perfectly fine with a 10-room level 8. Like, you could not ask for a better 8 than that, I don't think. Outside of, like, better items in it, you couldn't ask for a better level 8. Catastrophe's got quite a bit of money here. He's going to opt not to purchase the arrows at the moment, though. Both runners now on 7 hearts. Let's see where XRB decides to go from here. Catastrophe is now going to go back into level 8 and get the same news. And I'm thinking our progression is going to be in level 4 at this point. Based on what has been seen up to now, I think the progression is going to have to be in level 4. We'll see if XRB decides to go back to level 1 here. It could be a floor drop in 1 that Catastrophe missed. And XRB is also going to pass through. And that is correct. We did not see the floor item in 6. So neither runner is going to opt to take the free key from the Pirouette. XRB will now have his ladder. Let's see if he decides to dig level 1 a little more thoroughly than Catastrophe did. Because if something like a ladder or a bow is here on level 1, that could be a huge break point for XRB. He doesn't seem to be yet aware that it is going to be first quest 1 through 6, but he will become aware of that as soon as he gets the map in here. Happily take the compass. Looks like he's gonna go straight towards the Triforce as well. Ooh, but gets caught on the block and takes a death. But given it's level 1, deaths in level 1 are not generally the worst things in the world because the dungeon is so small. It's pretty quick to get back from just about anywhere. It's just a matter of how long will it take him to go back. Catastrophe is facing off against this Gleeok. Has it down to just a couple hits. The bosses look like they're about vanilla HP. Maybe a little high. And XRB will see this ladder block here. It's just a key, which he probably would like. Catastrophe's picked up his heart in level 8. And he will see in this room the 3rd item, which is the regular boomerang. XRB should be getting his map for this dungeon momentarily. At which point he will know it is level 1, and he will know that there are a lot of places he can get to through some bomb walls. He will get a key if he clears this room. Catastrophe now has his Triforce out of level 8. He's only 2 Triforces away from level 9 access. We know where level 4 is. We still have not seen level 2. We still have not seen where level 2 is in this scene. And that level 2 could very easily be recorder blocked right now. Catastrophe is going to cash in his raft. XRB is going to try to fight his way past the land molars, but gets sniped as he's going towards the door. The vanilla 4 spot has nothing. And now that XRB has the map, he might be a little bit more willing to dig this level 1 due to that death. He's already back up in the central portion. He could go north here. And I am curious to see what else is in this level 1, because you've only seen 1 item. If Recorder is in this level 1 and that leads to level 2, that is huge for XRB. Well, he's going to have to go through some land molars to get it. Going to pull out his candle. Catastrophe has bought the blue ring. Definitely not the worst purchase in the world. There is a decently high chance, and by decently high I mean slightly higher than 50-50, chance that the red ring will be in level 9. So that could be his only defensive option until the end of the siege. We have not seen the Wizards yet. Based on the dungeon shuffle, we should have seen them in 6. If the enemy groups are not shuffled, which I haven't really seen enough evidence that they are. We should have seen them in level 6, level 4, and level 9 will have them. If they are shuffled, they're probably most definitely in 4 and 2. Probably most definitely. I'm pretty sure that's not how that wordage is used. XRB wants to get these land molars down, gets one, and is able to leave the room. So what happens here is a glitch where if you kill one boss and leave the room, you come back and all the bosses are dead. Just like that. XRB does take a death there, but does get the keys. So XRB now has the key advantage over Catastrophe for the moment. He will have to spend a key. Wait, no, he's already been in the Triforce room. He will not have to spend a key to get to the Triforce room. Catastrophe, completely broke. Not going to buy anything. Just looking for level 2 and level 4 at this point, because I do not believe he has seen where level 4 is. And here you can see a little bit of a difference in the styles of heavily gamble on level 9 not being blocked versus be a little bit more thorough, check for your items, and see what you can get out of these dungeons. XRB finds the ladder in level 1. That is a fantastic break for him. So now, if there is so much as a single ladder blocked Triforce or a single ladder blocked Zelda, XRB will have the advantage. Remember, level 3 is entirely ladder blocked, and on top of that, also remember that this other wing of 1 is ladder blocked, actually. You can now check this upper corner of level 1. If there is something required in here, this could be an absolutely huge find. Now, that does have to be tempered back a little bit with, because it is level 1, this is likely one of the first places that Catastrophe will come back to. If you're looking for items, but Catastrophe finds level 2. Up in the northern reaches of Death Mountain. And this is where things get interesting. Catastrophe is on the path to be the first runner into level 9, but does not have ladder, does not currently have bow, does not have silvers, does not have recorder, which, if boss groups are shuffled, Dig Doggers can be a 9. There's a lot of gambles that are going on Catastrophe's side right now. No, I believe what Bishop was doing was he was looking more for the have some more range option. And the white sword would have been in level 2, but because it is replaced by a bomb upgrade, we have a bomb upgrade in its place on the floor in level 2. I think Bishop will look for this third item in here, seeing as he's seen most of the dungeon already. And it is a first quest level 1. It's a very small, very compact, quick to check dungeon. And the bow in level 1. Level 1 in this seed is just stacked. If Ganon is required, that gives XRB a significant lead. Even if there's a Goma required, that gives XRB a significant lead. He has the arrows, which I don't believe Catastrophe bought, because Catastrophe opted into the blue ring instead. If there is a Goma blocking the Triforce in level 2 or level 4, that is a big swing in this race. And XRB's thoroughness having paid off that massively, I think at this point he just goes dungeon hopping, gets his Triforces. He might not look for Recorder, especially if he finds levels 2 and 6 relatively quickly. He might just say, forget it, I'm gonna get my Triforces. I got bow, I got ladder. I'm just gonna gamble that 9 is Silver's red ring and just go for it. I like this play from XRB to go to 4. He's gonna try to open this door up here by doing a pirouette. But it will not open, he will have to spend his key. This will not be a drop room in level 4, I don't believe, because normally there's a main handle in here. The Wallmasters drop bombs, very important. And Kata has still not seen the level 2 item yet. Kata has decided he's going to go ahead and get this Triforce. I wonder if he sticks around to see the second level 2 item, or if he just leaves. Vanilla Triforce location and Vanilla Compass location for level 4. Catastrophe is 1 Triforce away from being eligible to enter level 9. He's going to go back into Vanilla 2, which was at, or level 2, which was at the second quest magical sword location. XRB is going to pick up the map. He will now know that it is a first quest level 4. And this could be our item room right here. This Gluliok room with the likes. What does in it? It is the wand. Not a bad pickup. We'll give him white sword damage to help out against bosses, as we see a heart on the floor in level 4. And this level 4 could easily be Goma or ladder block to get to that Triforce, so we're about to see what type of advantage XRB gets out of the bow and ladder. He is going to opt to potion in this main handle of the room. Don't blame him at all. He has the money to buy more potions if he wants. He doesn't have to necessarily worry about some other stuff. Actually, we might also just be clearing the room because trying to deal with the main handle of the room in general is kind of annoying. So it might be better to just deal with it, get rid of it, and then never have to deal with it again, or he'll just leave. I think leaving is the correct play there. You've already tried to fight it once. We have wish robes. We have wish robes. My guess is it's going to be wish robes at 9. So he's got to be careful. He's down to half a heart here. Does see a key. He's gonna get the key, but he is gonna get sniped. And Catastrophe is making his way up to level 4. He doesn't know it yet. Again, he does not have the ladder and he does not have the bow. So if there is a Goma or ladder block that is required to get through in this level 4, XRB will have an advantage there. The question will be, when does XRB go back to Death Mountain for level 2, and when does he go to second quest 7? Now, there are some other factors that could come into play here. So, the one bomb wall in level 4 that will not open is on the other end of the Kodiak room. So there are some other factors that can come into play here for both runners. Because Catastrophe doesn't have the ladder, his options for routing in level 9 are going to be more restricted than XRB's will be, potentially. So he might take a different route that could lead to Ganon faster, Zelda faster, could also be slower. We don't know. This could be the item room here in level 4. The other thing is, Ganon and Zelda don't have to be in their vanilla rooms. There's a 50-50 chance that each of Ganon and Zelda will shuffle. So if Ganon's not in his vanilla room, Zelda doesn't have to be in hers, and Zelda could very well be in a Chevy or remote room where now Catastrophe has to go look for the ladder, and we have a potential ladder blocked item here. Let's see. We have a reverse C room. This could be the item. And I like using the arrows here, even though the pulse boy still die in one hit. We have a ladder blocked item in level 4. It's a heart. So double heart container in 4. Based on what we've seen, noting that we have not seen 5 or 7 yet. My guess is Recorder's going to be in 3. And then we're going to have Red Ring Silvers in 9. And 5, 7 will just have the rest of whatever's left over, including things like book, heart containers, bed candle, magic key. Magic key is something the runners probably would want to see just because it takes away the potential of key doors, but we have not yet seen a ladder block for the Triforce. If the Triforce in here is not ladder blocked, Catastrophe will probably just go straight to 9, which XRB would need to start finding the dungeons relatively quickly to keep pace. And we do not have a ladder-blocked Triforce in level 4. Because the T-rooms will never require you to ladder clip to get around them, there will always be a way to both the edge and the center of a T-room. So there are no ladder-blocked Triforces, there are no Goma-blocked Triforces. You do not need the raft or the ladder to get into level 9. However, that does not mean you will not need them in level 9. And now XRB is on the hunt for his last 2 levels. Note that Catastrophe will be leaving an item behind in this level 4 because he cannot get past that ladder block. I'm not entirely certain with how familiar XRB is with the second quest spots. I would guess that he either knows them or whatever method he's using for tracking has them marked out somehow. He is saving. This is good. This is going to lead him towards level 6. But he is going the wrong way to get there. Well, never mind, actually. He is going a different way to get there. He could be going for Coast Heart. He could also be unfamiliar with the tree clip, so he's going to try to get into it the normal way, which is to come around from the other side and then just wrap around the screens to get into that stair. That's very well what he could be doing. He could also go ahead and cash in his raft here. Looks like he is going to do that. Catastrophe has gotten their final Triforce. They are going into level 9. And Shape's level 9. Shape's level 9 has one very finicky quirk that is very rarely seen, but I have seen it at least once. So the way Shape's dungeon works is that if there's multiple segments to the dungeon that you can't walk to, you will have to take a transport. There will be an extra transport stair added to the dungeon. Level 9 can have an extra transport stair added, and if it does, that means there will be 7 transport stairs in this level 9. Not saying it can't be. Not saying there is. There's an extremely low chance of that happening, but it is a non-zero chance. And XRB is checking his second quest push blocks. This is good. That will help him find level 2, knowing his second quest power bracelet spots. Hopefully he remembers to go check the forest for level 7. He might have also tried to do it earlier and missed it, and thinks he's already done that location. Patra being Patra. So you're seeing Catastrophe employ the always go up strategy. That gives him the best chances of finding Zelda because there's a 50% chance Zelda is in her own room. Now, she could be blocked by this old man. This old man could be blocking the entrance to Zelda's room, and you just gotta pay the hard 50 rupees to get in there. XRB has now found... He has up to 12 hearts. He could pick up that magical bomb upgrade if he goes back there. XRB finds level 7. Hopefully he doesn't dig this too deep as... Oh, for quarters in level 7, and he digs it deep into level 7 for a quarter. That is just going to be a huge detour from where he needs to go. This is one of the worst possible scenarios that could have happened for him. Is level 7's a big dungeon, and if it has recorder, that's going to lead him very far down the wrong path. Unless there's a dig dog or a 9 and it's required, which is possible. I don't think it's likely because we've seen nothing but patches so far in 9. But yeah, if recorder goes to unbeaten dungeons, that could also help him out a lot too. That is an option. There's a 50% chance the recorder will take you to unbeaten dungeons. There's also a 50% chance the recorder will take you to the old dungeon locations. Hello, first ladder block of level 9. Potentially. Catastrophe may be able to get around it. XRB up to 8 keys. As Catastrophe is able to get around that ladder block. This is not the biggest of 7s. But he has died a couple times. I would think you just leave here. I would hope he's recognized by now that the vanilla dungeon palettes are on and that he knows this is level 7. Yeah, he knows. He's leaving. I think he was looking for a map more for... I think he was looking more for a map for confirmation, but he's definitely leaving that. He's going to get his bombs here. And he is going to look for the ladder spots on the overworld. I actually like this play a lot. He has the ladder, so he knows that he can get into these. And while he doesn't know it, Catastrophe can't get into these at all. So checking these ladder spots makes actually a good bit of sense. And we have a map for 9 in shapes, always a good thing to see. See if XRB heads up to the north part of Death Mountain. Nope, he is going to continue going to the west portion. No? He's going back? He's going back. Okay. Catastrophe still on the hunt for Zelda. I do not know if we have heard a pig roar yet, as I do have the stream muted. XRB now gets the hint, meet the old man at the grave, which is technically truthful. Technically, that is a truthful hint, because what their magic sword would have been is at the grave. XRB will find level 2 here. This is good for him. That will put him on the correct path to get into level 9. He may pick up his wand here. I would not be necessarily surprised if he skips it, knowing he has ladder bow. He doesn't necessarily need it. But he's checking the north portion out first, so he will come across it, and I doubt he's going to deliberately skip it once he sees it. Both riders have a good key count. XRB a little low on bombs, but he's going to get a 4-pack here. Catastrophe fine on bombs. Catastrophe still looking for that Zelda room. Still listening for the roar. XRB has picked up his wand, so he can now fire wand blast from afar, giving him another ranged option. Second quest doors are in 9. Walkthrough walls are in 9. Patra apparently has the map. No, it didn't. Wait, that's Battle... Wait, what? No, that's Battle Staircase was a Patra room. So walkthrough walls are in 9. That's the thing now. In before Zelda's blocked by a walkthrough wall. Catastrophe will pick up a bomb pack on the ground there. He's up to 10 bombs. XRB is searching level 2 for his Triforce. So these doors that you see here, like the room that Catastrophe is in, there is a single shutter door. If that door did not open after defeating all the enemies, we would have found the location of Zelda in a Ganon-required seed. If Ganon is not required, Zelda can be literally behind any door. The other thing we're listening for is the roar of Ganon. That will tell us that Ganon is one room adjacent. In vanilla, all bosses had that roar. In vanilla, all of the bosses had that roar. In the randomizer, only level 9's boss Ganon does because the other bosses are randomized throughout the dungeon. So XRB is now done with level 2. He just needs to find level 6 and he will be in 9. Catastrophe, probably, I didn't exactly mark when Catastrophe went into 9, but it'll probably be a good, I'd say 7-minute lead for Catastrophe in 9, which is quite a bit. But if a ladder is required, or Ganon is required, that will put XRB in much better shape to catch up. He just needs to find that level 6. That's the big thing he needs to do right now, is find 6. Catastrophe not checking that stair. I think I would have checked it just to see. Okay, he is going to check it now. I would at least poke my head in every single stair to see if it's an item, because if it's a red ring or a silvers, that's a good sign. If it's not one of those two, then I know that my silvers are outside of 9, and then, well, for lack of a better term, things hit the fan. Because now you got to go back to all the dungeons that you skip the items out of, which is most of them. XRB is now going to go check the rest of Death Mountain. And Ganon is required. We have found the single shutter door that does not open. That is good news for XRB, as now with him having the bow, Catastrophe is going to have to look for silver arrows, then go back to dungeons to find the bow. But XRB is going to finish out the entirety of Death Mountain before he goes back to the forest. If XRB takes a slightly different path than Catastrophe in level 9, this XRB could take it out from underneath. XRB just needs to make his way to the forest to get into level 6. That's the one thing he needs to do right now. I believe that was the correct spot. It might be one tile over from where he bombed. But because we know that cave is nothing anyway, XRB is going to buy some more bombs. We'll see what happens when he gets done with Death Mountain, if he decides to go to the forest, or if he decides to go back to level 7 to dig it. Second quest 9 is just a bomb shop. I'm sincerely hoping he did not mismark his map. He finds the shield shop here in the push block. He's not bombed the screen yet, so he's going to bomb this open. But he's very quickly going to realize he knows he missed a spot there, and it is not here. Catastrophe finds a transport stair. XRB does make some good money on the gamble. Which is not necessarily the worst option in the world if you're short on money. But now the question is, where does XRB go from here? He's probably looking over his map thinking, what did I miss? He's going to save. This is going to take him back towards the forest, which is where he needs to be. Catastrophe still has not found those silver arrows in level 9. If they are even there, which there's a very high likelihood they are. There is the silvers for Catastrophe. Now He's probably heard Ganon based on his exploration. Now he's got to go look for items. If Catastrophe goes to 1, then XRB's window of opportunity will very quickly come to a close. XRB does find the cave, though. XRB is going to pick up this little bit of money here. He's going to save with that money. And Catastrophe's back in level 1. XRB's window is now very short. XRB needs to do a quick 6, get into 9, and fuck. The big thing that's going to hurt XRB is he's going to have to find those silvers in 9. Catastrophe has a path to the girl, has the silvers, likely has a path to Gant. I think if you're XRB at this point, you're just going for the Triforces. You're not worried about the items. You gamble that silvers are in 9, which in this case they are. Red Ring's probably there too. And we're getting indication that we have not heard the pig yet. Catastrophe is going to get the ladder. Oh no! Is he going to leave level 1? No, okay. There was a chance that there was a fleeting thought that he could have left level 1 to go to 3, but he is going to get his bow here. And XRB is going to need to move quick. Oh, but he's going to go to the north portion of the dungeon because he can kill this Goma. That will slow him down. The bow is going to lead to a detour in level 6 away from the Triforce. Of course, XRB doesn't know that yet. We also have no idea what's in level 5 because we never saw it. Fun fact. Now the question is, can Catastrophe get to Ganon? And XRB is going to not spend his key. This is a good decision on his part. What if we're Magic Staircase blocked from Ganon? What if we're just Magic Staircase blocked from Ganon? We could be. We still could be. Okay. Well, not here. Let's see. There's a ladder block. And no Ganon. There's no Ganon in this room. There's that one room in the center. That one room in the center that Catastrophe has not been adjacent to. If you look on the map of 9, underneath the second L in the 5th row down, Catastrophe has not been adjacent to that one room. That one room probably has Ganon. XRB has gotten his Triforce out of level 6. He is going to have to book it in 9, but it is still possible that XRB can take this from Catastrophe. We apparently have a Ganon Roar in this room here for Catastrophe. So it may be too little too late for XRB, as he still has to find those silver arrows. You cannot bomb down in this room. We may still yet be Magic Staircase blocked from Ganon. We may still yet be Magic Staircase blocked from Ganon. Catastrophe cannot get south in any of these rooms. And we have a Pig Roar. Catastrophe desperately trying to find a way to get to Ganon. Gonna go into this stair. As XRB is now doing his initial exploration of 9. Cat is now back near the Silver's room. If XRB can make his way there relatively quickly, he could catch up. And if he's able to find the path to Ganon, Zelda is right next to start. The compass, I want to say, was relatively easily accessible. However, there is another advantage that Catastrophe has, and that would be the blue ring. In the far northwest corner of the dungeon. Takes him to the right area. This is not the Ganon room. And here's an old man. Eyes of Skull has a secret. And you cannot bomb to the right. You cannot walk through the wall to the right. You'll go to the right, and there is a door to go to the north. That will take you to Ganon. Only one way to get there. And he is in his vanilla room. Here's Ganon. It's going to be, well, never mind, it's 0 hits. And XRB's window of opportunity has shut, as Catastrophe knows exactly where Zelda is. She has a couple rooms from start. With the quick up A, 1 room left, 1 room up, Catastrophe will take game 1 in this series. Everyone, please get your GGs in chat for Catastrophe573. Finishing in first place with an official SRL time of 59 minutes and 46 seconds. Just getting under that sub-hour mark. Definitely a very good effort from XRB, and realistically speaking, had Ladder and Bow not been, had Catastrophe not gone to 1 first, or had he gotten the ladder out of 1 and just left, we could be singing a very different tune right now. And that will be the forfeit from XRB, probably on, probably just due to the fact that this is a doubleheader and stuff, but a valiant effort from XRB. The big thing that held him back was finding 6 as late as he did. If he had found 6 on his initial clear of the forest, this could very well have been within seconds, within minutes, if not seconds. Apparently the recorder tune was Leaf from Crystallis. We're waiting to see if the runners are going to take a little bit of a break. It looks like we are going to have a small break between games 1 and 2. XRB, due to the way that these best of 3 matches work, is that when a person loses in any of these games, if it is not the game-ending loss, so in this case, because XRB lost game 1, he will have the option to turn off or on any particular flag he chooses as a loser's remorse flag. Hopefully, we will get some knowledge as to what that flag is before the race starts. We probably should. But we are going to take a little bit of a break between races. And we will be back in just a couple minutes.